Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham. Anyway, alright, so this whole communicating thing will be the subject again, I suppose. That this really shouldn't even be an obligation of mine, right? I shouldn't have to, tell everybody, say to anyone, oh, these are the real facts to pay attention to. This is the propaganda and the bullshit over here, and you sort of should ignore that and figure out that's bullshit, the religion thing, and, whatever. Hardy crapola means something, blah, blah, blah. All this mush. And the real story is this evolution thing, and robots, and crush, kill, and destroy, make more failures than winners, all that kind of crap. Way too expensive a game we're playing. Many dead, many ruined, many hurt. For what? A stupid little spectator sport. Just way too insanely expensive. Way just the carnage is insane. Most especially in the natural world over there, that fellow, the thousands of failures to create the one smiling turtle. Just way too expensive. Yeah, so that should be really simple. Everybody should be able to get it. Yeah, this is kind of messy. Way too messy. And you could figure it out, like, I don't know what kind of examples to use, but, where you just absolutely ruin something to polish something. You're polishing so hard that you rub all the paint off. And so, yes, you have one little spot that's really shiny and the rest of it looks like shit. Some sort of analogy for that. But I shouldn't even have to do any of this, right? I shouldn't. We're all living here on the planet. The facts are out there for us all to look at. And somehow, you don't get it. You can't figure it out. It's like, how can you not figure it out? Why do I have to even say any of this stuff? You didn't arrive here on Earth and start wondering why it has all these, you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and then you have to do this, and then you have to go through this, and then you have to have your wisdom teeth pulled, and then you have to have this happen, and then you have to have this, all this whole list of shit, and then you have to die. What? What? I didn't ask for any of that crap, thank you. Where was that on my list of, hopes and wishes? And what do I get out of all of this crap? Oh, heartache. I get to watch my pets die, and then my family die, and anybody I care about die, and I'll be the winner. Because I get to watch them die. It does seem worse that if I'm the one dying and they're watching me do it. Yeah, that seems worse. So those are my two choices. Watch them die, right? Or get killed and have them watch me die. Oh. What a great choice. I'm so happy to be here to make such a wonderful choice. Thank you. I mean, I have to explain any of this? Come on. This is too stupid. So this is where I am, sort of seeing it with the physics thing, there's just, how could we be living on the same planet and you can draw such opposite conclusions when, the facts are what they are. I mean, it's, it's like the fanatic religious people. You're saying, how can they be so confident? They have zero evidence. They propagandize based on some concept called faith, which is irrational on its face. I mean, that's the definition of it. Irrational belief. No evidence, no reasoning, just stupid. Just do it because somebody said do it. And I have to have the conversation. I have to explain how, being illogical is, kind of just pissing in your brain. I mean, that's having your brain drink piss. I mean, it's just really stupid thing to do. Brains don't work very well that way. Faith, irrational notions. Believe them just for the sake of the fun of it. That won't do the thinking thing any good. The whole function, the whole purpose of the brain is not to bang into the tree. The whole purpose of the brain is to know you can't walk through trees, that they cause damage. If you try to walk through one, you have to walk around them. That's the whole function of the brain, is to make us capable of seeing trees and not walking into them. And they just say, fuck that. Let's you know, because they can't, because it's about abstract things. You know, it's about things that will affect other people. It's about the future and you know, what kind of politics we have and what kind of world we invest in and all that kind of stuff, and all that affects somebody else. It'll all be paid for later, you know, right? We can borrow it now and never pay for it ever. That's somehow a notion in their little, just have faith. Just have faith that that works. You know, the unpaid credit card. Yeah, that's a great idea. You never have to pay it back. You just keep spending money and it's fun. So they've bought into all kinds of just really, really stupid stuff, and I'm sitting here saying I have to explain to them they're being stupid. I mean, it is tedious in a way. I mean, it's really obnoxious to my brain that I have to keep trying to say this in some sort of way that is persuasive. Like I should have to actually persuade somebody not to be an irrational asshead. I mean, you know, what? I have to work at it? I have to, like, cuddle them and hug them and say, look, you know, there's good reason not to believe in fables. You know, there's really a good reason to do that, because, you know, you really are in the universe and you really are an interacting player, and all of the interactions between us will decide what the future will look like. And do you really want the future to be sitting there walking in trees? You know, because you told them to? You told them it was a good idea to have faith in nothing? You know, just complete mushy ideas of they're not even hopeful. I hope a draconianly pissed off and evil God created the universe. You know, I'll have to be a slave to him forever and polish his rubies and emeralds. And certainly not have any fun. Don't do anything natural, you know, that you're designed to do. Anyway. But, you know, there's no, you know, and then you got the nihilist on the other side, you know. The greedy, you know. If it isn't happening to me, it isn't happening in the universe, people. You know. Yeah, just what I wish I could make a video, but I almost can't do it. I can't do it anymore. The conversation is just too stupid. Why should I have to do this? This shouldn't be part of my living experience. Oh, you know, you have to keep, you know, explaining to people who are showing profound signs of being uncognitive retards, you know, to quit shitting in their water. You know, shitting in the water that we have to drink. The human race has to drink the crap, okay, that they're injecting into the world. You know, that they're imposing on the world. Yeah, so there, I'm done. I just don't want to do it. Okay, I have to keep making videos, I suppose, but it's just coming up with some sort of magic formula of, you know, words that come out of my mouth that have you appreciate that this really isn't that complicated. You know, that we're bugs. We start off as bugs on this planet. And why did the bugs exist? Because of the fact that the universe doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. It's got atoms and molecules, and it creates some... I don't know this voice thing. I'll be back. I can pause. So. Alright, back. Anyway, so, you know, so bugs, chemistry, you go before that, little pieces that make up the chemistry, right? So the universe just created chalk, you know, puts it in the universe, and it creates a little bit of capacity for the chalk to change, you know, into something else, and you know, limited amount of that. But yeah, it changes from chalk into whatever, some other compound, and Jello, and then it can make pudding, and then, you know, this pudding is sort of related to Jello, right? And then it can make rubber bands, you know, because pudding is a lot like rubber bands. Anyway, you know, it just starts making shit, okay? And then the shit figures out how to make more shit, so to speak. It doesn't need any help. Especially when you end up with one of these DNA molecules and all that kind of crap. And so anyway, you end up with these machines that are just here to replicate, you know, and that's all that whole system is this, you know, winner take all kind of crap. Figure out a strategy that makes you out survive the other crap, even your brothers and sisters. You know, when it comes down to it, when push comes to the shove, you'll shove them over the edge of the cliff also. And that's the machine design. And then we gain this tool of intelligence, you know, this capacity to arrange and store information, do this vocabulary thing and communicate and write down stuff and all of that crap. And so we can, you know, convert the crude tool of just a scheming device, you know, a way of getting around the trees efficiently. It's an engineering device, you know, but I mean, obviously there's a difference between selfishly engineering and engineering in some sort of more rational way, you know, where you're trying to make it more green, less bloody. You know, I don't actually have to kill the person in front of me to get to the water. I can actually just go like that, and then they'll think I went that way, and they'll go that way, and I can get around them. You know, I can just fool them. I don't have to actually kill them to get what I want. And we figure out, well, it's better if I don't kill them because, you know, killing is an unnecessarily brutal process, blah, 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 blah. I can make it less, you know, more efficient because, yes, I can realize they're sentient. You know, it's not that complicated. You realize the other things have this feeling thing happening. You know that the feeling thing is really important to you, that you don't want to have all these negative, horrible feelings. You don't want to know what a, you know, heart attack feels like, or the stroke feels like, or, you know, aneurysm exploding in your brain feels like. You don't want to have all those fun feelings, you know. And so likewise, you know it, they're no good in somebody else either. You know it's no fun to have the broken leg, and you don't need, you know, you don't want to make a whole bunch of unnecessary broken legs anywhere else either. So you figure out these little simple truths about existence. And then you can go this you know, this step, you can finish that process by sort of climbing out of your life, you know, and sitting on a rock and thinking about it a little bit. You know, looking at the maze and watching how the game is played and see how it's all this redundant Romeo and Juliet horse shit of, you know, just getting yourself into traps, you know, and then trying to maneuver the trap and manipulate the trap, you know, figure out how to, you know, you step in one of those leg hold traps or something, and then you figure out how to pull the stake up. You can't open the trap though, and you have to sort of drag the trap around with you. And you can see people doing that. You know, they get married and then they cheat on their wives, and they do this and they do that. They figure out different ways to still have fun, even though they feel trapped. Okay, you know, you're just watching all of these animals squirming around in their little traps. You know, all kinds of traps stuck on them. You know, all kinds of mistakes they made in their life, all kinds of stuff that decided to, you know, put them in some sort of disadvantage, to, you know, cut off their hands and cut off this and cut off, you know, you can metaphor to different things, but, you know, if we made all of the damage we do in our lives to our psychology, to ourselves, to others, we're really broken by the time we get to this winning circle. We're really scarred and fucked up. And then you die, right? And so you're just watching it. You're saying, "Oh, come on, who's selling this as a good idea?" I mean, who can sit here? You know, here's a place on the rock next to me to go look at this, and you're going to look at this and describe it as good spectacle. This is a great game. You know, where's my popcorn? I mean, how can you do that? I mean, how is your brain so constructed? What perverse notion do you have in your head that makes it possible for you to celebrate this as a great accomplishment? You know, this let's just keep redoing the same TV show over and over and over and over again, and we'll just draw it more poorly. You know, the same themes, the same stories. I mean, these Shakespeare formulas, the underdog successfully winning bullshit, the you know, the happily ever after, or the tragic ever after, the stoic ever after, whatever the bullshit is. But it's just a bunch of emotional manipulation. So I guess that's where it all falls apart, is people are just emotional animals still. They're still minkies, you know, and they're still way overreacting to everything. You know, you just put a little, you know, spider costume on your hand, you know, and you can make them go all nutty, you know. And humans are still just reactive minkies. You know, they haven't grown up yet much. They haven't, you know, they haven't put any context to their knowledge. And so the big story is, I think the overview, they've been religious way too long, and they're still raising their kids in, you know, little fantasy lands of, you'll overcome, you'll endeavor to persevere, you know, you'll be president someday, you know, it's all this horse shit. All these delusions of hope that they're not going to be just one of the slaves with a bunch of fucking traps stuck all over them, you know, carrying a bunch of chains through their life, blah blah blah. So it's just a mess. It's just horrible when you look at it, the amount of, you know, harm being imposed for just no accomplishment. There's just nothing to be gained in selling this bad game to anything, anywhere, for any purpose. The dysfunction is, you know, it hurts just to imagine the hurt, the scale of it, what is being endured right now. You know, what kind of horrors are taking place right now in all kinds of horrible places. You know, ew. The experience is so, you know, there's people right now, you know, just got hit by a car, just got, you know, run over. Ew. All kinds of shit are happening to people right now, and animals, of course. Of course, I shouldn't say of course, because, you know, most people don't even get that. You know, they walk their dog down the street and feed him bacon. You know, yeah, you know, they're not getting it at all. This connection, how everything's connected to experiences, and how everything's made out of experiences, and that everything has to be made by some poor slob who's, you know, has got to show up at the chalk factory, you know, and stick the chalk in the box or whatever the fuck he's doing all day, you know, to make barely enough to pay the rent and blah 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 blah. I mean, it's just, you know, fuck. So, I mean, I don't know, this isn't that complicated. And you're saying if they can't get it, just looking at it, you know, how the hell are my words going to help? I mean, the facts should be communicating loud and clear, and somehow they don't. But it's all part of this, like I said, this emotional propaganda thing. It's some sort of team activity, and there's the fighters, you know, and fight, 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 no matter what. Don't ever give up. And, you know, it's defined as giving up, successfully cleaning up the mess. You know, because that's the worst thing you want to do, is clean up the mess, because then there's no mess to clean. I mean, they're just mess makers, you know, they're mess cleaners. You know, fix a problem, fix a problem, fix a problem. So if you actually fix the problem, that is, and the existence of problems, well, then they have a problem, because now there's nothing to fix, and they can't have a world like that. They can't allow that to be the solution. So it's just like they have to manufacture their business. So you can get back to things like, what people who you think are kind of intelligent and have some integrity, like the medical community, doctors, well educated, all that kind of stuff. They do see the shit side of life, right in front of them. But that's part of the catch-22 of it, right? There has to be a catch. They can't be very empathetic, or they couldn't have the job, right? Because you'd have to somehow be able to deal with it every day, watching people experience things that you wouldn't want to experience. And somehow you have to have it in your brain that you're immune and they're not. Somehow they're sick for a good reason and you're healthy for a good reason, and you've made yourself separate from them, enough where you don't have to see what's happening to them and see the fact that you have the same tag on your shirt and that you're going to be the, you're number 48. Okay, yeah, well, that's 38, so I still can go 10 more before I'm the asshole on the gurney. Because I would think, obviously, for people who are sensitive, and they would see this as a huge vulnerability, and, would certainly have free condoms in their office, giving out to everybody they possibly could, because they'd know, oh, this is not a very good position we're in. This pulling, rolling dice with skull and crossbones on them, and just keep rolling them, keep taking the chances, keep rolling the dice until you get fucked. That's the game we're playing. Roll the dice, get silly numbers. Every now and then, like, there's a little star and a little unicorn. So every now and then you can put star, unicorn together, when you roll the dice and you have a good day. You get laid the proper way and you have a nice little fun day, and But, most of the numbers on the dice are just stupid, retarded, worthless, routine, tedium, just, there's lots of shitty things on the dice. Most of them are just shitty, oh, I got through another day on planet Earth, wig fucking woo. I had a lovely banana with my dinner, blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit. And you're just waiting for the skull and the crossbones to pair up and fuck you up. So anyway, they're educated, they see all this stuff, and yet, they'll vote against euthanasia. Why? Oh, because that would put them out of business. That's right, they can't make as much money. They can't have as whatever, stainless steel refrigerator. They have to have one with some sort of, glued on finish instead. They can't have as big a yacht and all that other kind of crap. It hurts their business, their exploitation of sickness. And you're just saying, man, that's really cynical, right? That these healthcare professionals who see the shit condition that the human the human condition is, they see the joke of it, and yet they see even bigger, bolder, what's in it for me. Even they can't get past it. And they'll vote against something there's absolutely no reason for them to vote against it. They'll argue against it, try to stop society from doing it, merely because it'll cost them money. And I could point out the whole, just to take a shot at the trolls who argue that I'm somehow a cat killer or something, some kind of evil person. And there isn't anything but sincere empathy that motivates me. This whole idiotic notion that somebody's fixing a problem in the world, right? So, you got all these people with, you could sort of just mock all these charities that spend more money organizing the charity than they actually do providing any useful charity. And then when they do provide some useful charity, like, they give somebody a basket of food, there's no condoms in the basket. They don't give them anything that people really need. which is to stop making a mess. You know, so they don't fix the problem, like the overpopulation problem in places, and you know, they're not helping the people any by making it more possible for them to make more babies that they can't afford to have. But that's what they do and call it charity, love. We care, you know, to make the problem even bigger. So our charity is even more important, and people will give them even more money to it, and I'll have a job for life. It's cynical. It's disgusting that this is how the world runs. And so, you know, I could say like veterinaries, you know, they know the reality of the world, and but yeah, they're making money off this whole idea of let's save the poor feral cats by doing surgery and injecting them and doing all this crap and then throwing them on the street to get run over by a car, because they're making money on the deal. So it's a great for them, but how do the cats win? You know, they don't. And then this, you know, and then the silly emotionalism, right? The stupid monkeys, you know, can't figure out that they're not doing a cat a favor by putting it to sleep, cutting its nuts off, and then waking it up and throwing it on the street, when they should have just put it to sleep and left it asleep. Wait till, you know, just leave it asleep. Why are you waking it up to go live a shitty life? I mean, it's just too stupid, and it's really expensive. So they're doing it this insanely expensive way. They waste all the resources they could spend on prevention, you know, on taking prisoners out of prison and putting them in a concentration camp instead. I mean, they're not improving the condition any. They're taking the problem, which is, oh, look at them suffering, and they're just saying, well, let's let them suffer without nuts. I mean, they're not fixing anything. They're not fixing the ones that are really creating the problem. You know, they're never getting to the core problem, the mechanism that makes the too many cats. And it's, you know, it's disgusting. That you even have to have, why should I even have to have these arguments that you're not doing a cat a favor, you know, by throwing it into to live on the streets eating garbage. It's not what cats are supposed to do. They're not, you know, they can do it, just as humans can live on the street homeless. Doesn't mean that's worth doing, that it's worth living that way. You wouldn't live that way. I think in your head you know you wouldn't live that way. You wouldn't find that acceptable. You'd protest if tomorrow I showed up with a piece of paper that says, well, it's been decided that you're going to be homeless now. You're going to eat garbage and drink way too much and smell way too much and die way too soon. Lucky you. Yeah, you'd protest. You'd call your lawyer, I'm sure, if I showed up with that piece of paper. So, anyway, yeah, this is, so, like I said, theoretically, I can't say there's any good reason why I should have to make these videos. So all the reasons are some sort of bad reason. And it has to do with somehow people are very different than me, apparently. And I have to discern what that difference is, because none of this worries them or occurs to them. It doesn't run through their head as a thought process that they have to account for their existence here. And, you know, what side were they on? Whose side were they on? Did they actually vote for the concentration camp? You know, as much as they're saying, I'm against it, I'm against that bad stuff. Well, what did you do? Did you finance the bad stuff? Did you pay for the walls of the bad stuff? Did you pay to have the guards show up and the guns and the whips and the, you know, did you finance the whole thing and then say you're against it? I mean, did you do everything you could possibly do to create, you know, the problem? It's almost like this whole race war thing that's happening, you know. The guilt on both sides, in the sense that they're essentially trying to have one. They're doing everything they need to do to make it inevitable. You know, the fact that nobody's getting the real point, which is a civilization is made out of some sort of common respect for common courtesies or rules of behavior. That when you go into an intersection, there has to be some kind of functional rule that says, yeah, the guy who showed up first goes first, or the guy on the right always goes first. You have to have some sort of subtle rules that you can all accept. And if you don't have those rules, then there's no game. Okay, then yes, you're going to degrade into dysfunction. It's like fixing any kind of vibration in a system. If you don't get rid of it, the whole bridge falls apart. That kind of thing. Whatever you can metaphor it to lots of things that fall apart because there's a subtle design flaw. And it's like they're doing everything to force people to pay attention to things that have nothing to do with the thing that's really, breaking the bridge. So you're all going to be part of it. You're all going to be blamable. In your life, like I said, it's all, what did you really do? Did you really do anything good? Okay, or did you do things like doctors do, which is, yeah, you did everything you could to say, I'm an ethical and decent and loving person trying to help people. And what do you help them do? Die badly. One of the most important things a person's going to do is die. And it seems like doctors have a huge interest in making sure you do it as badly as possible. It's not a guy on your side. And the same thing, I'm sort of just metaphoring it to this whole philosophical question of this investment people have in their silly religions and their silly hope and their silly AI to the rescue. Their whole notions that they're going to reconstruct the world into some sort of thing that makes some sort of sense. That robots will do all the work and we'll just sit around and drink scotch. And what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. We still have to somehow be involved. Anyway, just it's all made out of mush, and selling this fake hope and this fake notion of some place to go, some mission. There isn't any. There's just creating sensitive things and then creating some world that they, ooh, I don't want to go there. Oh, I want to go over here. Oh, just finding some reason for it to keep going somewhere just because you keep giving it choices between A and B, and you just keep making, B less than A, and so they'll, I have to go get to the A, and then you make, it's just it's a little silly chase game. And you never needed to tie the carrot in front of the donkey. Okay, it's no point. Just leave the donkey alone. You don't have to keep chasing this nothing of oh, well, I stepped a few more steps forward. So what? There's nowhere to go. There's no place to evolve to. There's just the game of, push your brother and sister off the cliff. And once that game's over, there's no game. The game was fundamentally stupid from the beginning. And we're still selling a stupid game. A game that doesn't go anywhere. I win. And then I die, and that's it. Yeah, so what? You won. You won nothing. Because again, winning means you just got lucky. You weren't one of the 9,000 turtles that got pecked to death or dried up or did some other, some other horror infected them. You endeavored to persevere in some, better way. You danced a better little silly dance. But you're not going anywhere. It's like running faster miles or something. Well, I shaved 4 seconds off the world record. Wow. Yeah. There's nothing here to do except stop it, clean it up, prevent it, quit doing this to robots, quit forcing them to play this silly game of of even this horrible game of having to realize that every bit of their gratification, is coming out of something else's welfare, and that very few of our comforts are free, and even the dilemma of having to even go through that process of saying, I'm going to pretend to be a nice guy, but I'm going to really take what I can, and play this whole this individual psychology that we all are trapped in, where we can see the conniving and the scheming in our own. Even in this video, there was probably bits and pieces I could sit there and say, yeah, but you said that because you want to just, I could find some ulterior motive, some little bit of me that is really just maneuvering for my advantage, for my appearance, my something. Well, hard to see it in this video, but anyway, it's in our existence all over the place. And even that is a crime against our fundamental and core right not to be given these horrible choices of stealing candy from the baby, taking, in some kind of cheaty way, because they just keep tempting you. And tempted by what? This silly desire that never goes away, that you'll never satisfy. So, that you're always going to perpetually go a step further. Again, if I give you the shiny new car, you're happy for a day, and then it gets a scratch on it, and now you're unhappy. Then you have something else to maintain, something else to and then tomorrow they come up with a new model that has twice as much chrome, and then you're feeling, oh shit, my car sucks. I mean, this doesn't work. It doesn't go anywhere. You're not going to find nirvana or utopia or any of those places, because we're not meant to live there. We're meant to find cracks and problems. We're meant to solve problems. That's what the whole point of having the brain is. The brain is just there to analyze and find something wrong to fix. And unfortunately, as stated, the brains are all stuck in the maze, walking their stupid, silly life. Mommy told me what to worry about, and she told me what kind of, step on a crack, break my mommy's back. They're all doing this kind of little maze bullshit. And if they just, get a little perspective, they'll just see that, oh, the problem the brain really has to fix is the problem of existing. It's the problem. It's the thing that, it's the cause that, the effect that doesn't have a legitimate cause. There's no point in pretending there's any point in putting gasoline in that car. It doesn't have wheels, doesn't have a steering wheel, doesn't, the hose just spills onto the ground. I mean, there's no hope of this going anywhere or doing anything. You don't put quarters in this vending machine, because all it makes is stuff that looks just like shit. Depressing. Anyway, but that's the dilemma, right? Is that there's too many people are just living their little, very small world they're really seeing. Very small little world they're looking the world at, little pieces of it, and they just don't have any, open your eyes and get the real picture kind of thing. Look at it in the context, see how it really works. And that whole really works thing is the, because you see that with the physics arguments I've been having, that they want a fable, they want a fake story, they want something other than reality to be, they want reality to be something other than what it looks like, what every piece of evidence indicates it is, and instead, so they're going to force some fable to be true, some fake story to be true. Seems. And then it's just the club thing. Like I said, it's their traditions, what they've been brought up on. Facts are like a food, and it's not, they're so used to eating manufactured food that they don't know what real food is, kind of thing. So they have to keep reaching for the synthetic, Well, it's meant to taste like an apple. It's a fake apple, It's like we're making fake apples, And there's, people are, the fake apple costs $43 an apple, but they're just used to fake apples, and they just, real apple now. I can't eat the real story, the real facts. Let's see, it's probably not the best metaphor. Anyway, so I think that's probably enough for just getting to the point of the story so far is that human beings as a collective, just don't want to have these, they don't like the conflict, which I guess is sort of understandable. So they don't want to get into this real contest of forcing somebody to win and lose when it comes to this religious stories and all this other stuff. But it's inevitable, that these kind of conflicts are going to have to be resolved. See, but we resolve everything with silly compromises that are useless, because you've mixed the oil in the water. I mean, it's, it's just not gonna, it doesn't mix well enough. Making both sides happy, and they're not happy. Neither side is happy. They're just, they'll take what they can get. They think they're getting something, but they're getting something so polluted by the other sides getting that they got nothing. I don't even know how to put that. But yeah, it's a monster. It's a, you put pieces that are incompatible. Ant legs with a dog head, and it's a monstrosity compromise. Yeah. But then there's no, the problem is that there's no rule that says right will win. And so, having a winner-take-all thing, well, that's no good either, because if the wrong side wins, then you can be stuck for hundreds of years in another trap of bullshit. Well, anyway, point is that, yes, apparently it's necessary for me to say something and hope the words mean something in terms of recognizing the context, that everything is at stake. I mean, the long future of humans and animals going through many hurtful experiences is at stake, and we're going to decide whether it happens or doesn't happen because of how we interact with each other and deal with this real problem that exists in this structure that we're walking on and that we're engineering for the future. And we, for their benefit, for the future's benefit, we have to not be compromising the integrity of the thing, like deficit spending, to get what we want and create liabilities for the future, that is, weak bridges, so they can be ruined by it, ruined by our taking, our selfish notions that, oh, I really want to be part of a fun, good story, so I'm going to just pretend it's a good story, even though it's not a good story. And in that pretending your life is some sort of great idea, you're somehow promoting the existence of the next person who's going to have to live another mundane, stupid, idiotic existence of way too much pain, way too little gain. You're going to create tomorrow's failure with your pretending that you're not failing. It's all this false hope crap. Anyway, you keep selling this, idea that this doesn't cost anything, and it's really expensive. And everybody should be able to say it's way too expensive. That's all. It's just too expensive. Maybe there's some bits of it that have some sort of, I don't even want to give them any dignity, right? Because then I'm almost guilty of doing the same thing, of pretending it's okay to make up fake stories about the fake accomplishments, when they're really not accomplishments. I mean, even your good days are good days merely because of some deluded notion in your head, and that's it. It's not because of anything good happening. It's just that you have a bunch of I need crap that's completely just crap that's in your head. You feel poor. You don't. It's not necessarily you are poor. Those kind of things. You feel ugly. You're not necessarily ugly. I mean, lots of things are just ideas in people's heads, and they have nothing to do with reality. And suddenly they feel all relieved, or they feel all good about something because some stupid thing happens, and it's just a delusion in their head that anything really good ever happened, even happened. It's just that they value this crap, and think it has value. Well, anyway, just for an experience, when you could. Goes back to little sayings, right? So, I mean, a lot of this stuff people have thought of and they figured out, and they turned it into some little statement like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. If you have your health, you have everything, kind of things. They're really hard truths in very soft packages, But it's, that's part of the perspective thing. That's part of figuring out what existence is and what the game is. And instead of chasing the shiny bullshit, they should have been chasing right from the start the stable stuff. The bricks were much better. So there should be like a 3-pig story about the difference between bricks, not sticks, and not wheat, but bricks and gold-plated styrofoam. This idea that we chase the stuff that's pretty rather than the stuff that's durable and has integrity. We're fooled by the fool's gold, kind of thing. Anyway, all right. So I'll give up here and further contemplate strategy and how to communicate. Well, it's a really simple story. Again, if you just get the truth of the evolution thing, once you got evolution, see, right there, that should be enough. You should just be able to contemplate the millions of years of carnage. And there really were no winners. They all got killed in the war. There were no survivors. Okay? It was really a bad story, made out of a ton of grief. And that's what we're doing still. And it's not a good thing to be doing. It wasn't good then, and it's not good now. And, you should be able to figure that out. That even though you're made to endeavor to persevere as a robot, you shouldn't make endeavor to persevere robots. It's a really bad idea because they'll do stupid, insane things, and it'll be insanely expensive to clean up the mess. So don't do it. All right. Don't defend it. Don't support it. Don't finance it. Say no. Stop. Anyway. So, all right. It'll have to do, pig, kind of video. Yeah. So I'll work on it. Yeah, that's the best thing, best I can do right now. I know I need to, this is all, I am, I know it just does it, maybe it doesn't appear like I'm progressing, but I am, okay? And, or maybe not. No, I am, I think. This is just part of the progressive steps that you have to go through before I make the perfect video. This is useful practice, and I'll get there. And then you'll say, okay, Gary, I see all that work. That's years and years and years of practicing. I can see where it paid off. Or not. That's the thing. See, it either will or will not be a fact that that's what took place. That I did get better at this. But anyway, we'll see. It's a daunting task attempting to communicate with any human. It's really difficult. Especially when I don't speak their physical languages, let alone their emotional language. But anyway. So, till the next time, that's enough. I'll surrender. Yeah. I know it needs, there's more. It's just not heavy enough, right? Yeah, I get it. I know. Okay, so, the video isn't quite good enough. All right, I got it. It'll be better next time, maybe. Maybe. Anyway, okay, that's, sorry. What can I say? I'll endeavor to do better as I'm persevering. I am endeavoring to. I thought about it. I mean, I'm, this is sort of trying, whether you think so or not. I am trying. God. It's not my job anyway. It really shouldn't be. I didn't sign up for this. Sorry. I'm getting feedback, from my own intelligence, sort of just saying. Well, I mean, you've pointed out you have this mission of communicating, but you're not doing it very well. I have to concede, but I just like, okay. I mean, I can only got the facts to work with. I mean, I can't, what am I supposed to do? And then it starts suggesting, Barney the dinosaur suits and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, come on. I shouldn't have to do that. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah. So I'll have to do. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hit the button. Alright, so till the next time. And such. And so forth and whatnot.